Okay, here is the entrance to our garden from our backyard on the property behind us. This is mainly for my grandmother who can't come visit. But as you walk in, we have what was, I guess, a dog run for the previous owners, but we turned it into a compost pile. And now we are tearing down the exterior fence and turning it into a garden work area and moving the compost to elsewhere. And as you continue in to the right, we have a bed that we've made for sweet baby bell peppers. This is actually a bed we made by accident, an inch or two too small as compared to the bed over here, which is going to be our asparagus bed. We already have the asparagus started, but this is about 2.5 feet tall, so the roots have plenty of space to get started. We have some blueberry plants along the path and zucchini along the back, some starter tomato plants to go elsewhere, and of course in front of them a bunch of other mini heirloom tomato plants. When we continue along here, we have spinach that is now seeding and a bunch of Cubanelle peppers, still smaller, but they'll be producing soon. Some eggplant, and in the tires here and the buckets behind them, even over there, we have cucumber. You can see we're using both tires and buckets and outlining things with rocks where we can and labeling things where we can. And here we have some hot peppers next to our very giant grate that we have covered with a wire mesh just to keep people from falling through, or small children, from falling through these 1-by-1 holes that somehow were left open in this ginormous grate back here. Here are our starter asparagus, ready to get planted in that bed when it's ready, which will be probably this fall. Need to let the mulch smash down. Then we got more hot peppers and tires backing up to our asparagus bed. So we'll continue in the garden, again with the peppers on the right and asparagus on the left. And then in front of us we have 10 different little 4x4 boxes filled with tomatoes and peppers, different types of tomatoes, black tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, golden tomatoes, peppers, jalapenos. We have planted in an area here that's kind of an overflow area from the drainage pond behind. If water ever does overflow, this is to slow the movement of water from the other side to over here, and we planted some tomatoes in and among the rocks. Then beyond there we have our pole beans that we've put on bamboo shoots. See, they're growing quite strongly. And squash, both in containers and in tires. More squash. And then here we have some butternut squash, which you can see growing from the other side. A couple of random tomatoes. Cabbage getting ready to seed from winter. Kohlrabi, most of which is already seeded, we just need to move it. Some blackberries. And again, winter stuff seeding. Turnips, mustard greens. We've got our bench along the back of the garden with some peppers in it. Okra babies, we're a little bit behind on those, but they're new to us. More tomatoes in buckets. A couple of containers of arugula. Let's see, we'll walk this way. Got some raspberries here. Small blackberry plant, we've got these throughout. More turnips, seeing if they'll not seed as quickly as the others in the shade area. Got some Swiss chard. A mini little herb garden with sage, savory winter, thyme, oregano, tarragon. And we got some small broccoli plants. We're just planning to see if they seed. Here are some strawberries and other beans. Then back here we have kale, still growing from winter. We've moved it to the shade again to see if we can keep most of it for seeding, but some is still seeding. Additional mustard greens, green onions, and a bunch of basil starters. So we'd like a pile of it this year. Little tomatoes along the back just to see how they do. So again, here's the scan of the garden from the back. So we have our onions up in the corner, and you can see the asparagus bed and table on the other side, and then all of the beds along the garden. So next we'll show you what is our berry patch, what we call the berry patch, on the far side of the garden in the ravine. It's filled with wild blackberries, and we've been planting raspberries and then some of my hybrid blackberries that produce bigger berries. You can see some of the work we've been doing. Most of the area in the garden was about as overgrown as all of this. We've come in and bushwhacked it and mulched it and put cardboard under, as we've done here. So we're starting to do that in the ravine to build a thicker path on the other side, and put tires to hold the wall, because as you can see it's kind of steep to get down. And then you can see how overgrown it is in other areas. So we'll go down the ladder. You can look back up at how steep it is to get up. But again, we've got tires along the side with tomatoes and raspberries. And these are some brick fragments from a patio that's been broken up that we're going to flip the other side, right side up, and make these steps for when this area is holding water. But these tomatoes are the golden tomatoes and are back here because they produce prolifically. Kind of drop these tomatoes, these little teeny golden tomatoes, faster than you can pick them, and they'll plant themselves. So hopefully back here, along with blackberries and raspberries producing on their own, we'll have those that we will not have to plant anymore. And here we're trying to weed, as we've done back here, and cover with compost so we can get to the tons of blackberries and raspberries throughout. You can see this is an entire ravine area filled with weeds, of course, but piles and piles and piles of blackberries and raspberries. Most of the red you see back here are blackberries that have not turned black yet. It's an area I cleared out earlier today, trying to make it so you have less weeds to get through to get to the blackberries. There's some birds picking on the blackberries. You can see there's a lot of grapevines along the fence here that have actually been bending and breaking the fence. So we're going to try to get those out of here because they're just making it hard as they grow into the blackberries and raspberries for us to find the blackberries and raspberries. But as you can see, they are everywhere back here. Anyway, that's our garden that we're trying to get under control.